So now you get involved in the heroin trade. I mean, you end up getting knocked and you get a whole new case over it. So we can talk about it. When you're getting heroin over there, right? How are you getting it in? I mean, are they throwing it over the
That,
fence? Are you coming
no,
to the visit?
same thing, same at that same routine visitation. At this particular time, I'm still working visitation room. Um, I'm working the visitation. I'm getting people to come visit other inmates. Like I said, I'm getting a visit, and we both going up there. We striking. We coming back to the yard. You know what I'm saying? I'm busting it down. This particular time is $400 a gram, wholesale, or you can make you 1,400 if you break it down. So,
Let me
I,
stop you. So you're getting $400 a gram, but
correct,
if you break it down, you can make 1,400.
correct.
All right, and you end up. I mean, you're doing your thing. You got other chicks visiting other dudes. You end up getting knocked. Tell the people how much shit you get knocked with in federal prison.
Uh, in federal prison, I got caught with 31 grams of heroin. Same thing. Particularly, so I had a what happened was I had a co-defendant, my co-defendant on this particular case, and this is the case that I called the extra 7 years on. My co-defendant is wiring me money, talking about me on the phone while I'm in visitation. At this particular time, the Serenos stab a police officer because once you the dope man on the yard, everybody knows. You know what I'm saying? Hey, uh, such and such gonna get ran up. They're gonna put the hey, hold on. We going to visit this weekend. Everything holds when you got the certain elite people that's talking on the yard, everything's a wait. So while I'm in the visit, a guy at this particular time, it was I think he got high and got into it with a police officer and ended up stabbing the police officer. So while they stabbing the police officer, I'm in the visitation room. So, once that everybody leaves out, all the officers got to respond to a staff member being stabbed, right? So I get my little shit while I'm up there, boom. I ain't even, I'm thinking it's so sweet. I'm like, man, all the officers gone. This man don't got stabbed. I'm finna walk straight back to the unit. I get, they getting us out the visitation room, calling us out. I get to walking down, they can run down on me and get me. Bam. I had the right on me, I had the 31 grams on me. And they put me in a dry cell. I sit out some more. I sit them out. Uh, they counted up 31 grams of heroin, and and they was like, thanks to the phone call. What I didn't find out later was my co-defendant was wiring me money on the phone, $5,000 while I was in visitation, and that in turn put SIS on me.
So your co-defendant at the prison, is he in jail with you? Your co-defendant?
Right, right. He in the jail with me.
Black dude, white
So
dude, Mexican?
black guy from California, black guy from California, from Oakland. You know what I'm saying? BGF member. Uh, so cool. We was cool. We was cool on the yard. We was pretty cool. But sometimes when you don't stay with a person, you don't really uh know them all the way because you stay in a different unit. You somebody different in the unit than you was on the yard. And unfortunately, I didn't find this out until it was over with. And this is like for because that was just dumb as hell. I was like, how the fuck he got all this sense? You working the law library? Like you was one of them guys that was real, like, acting like he was real intelligent. So I'm like, how the hell he talking on the phone? Why would he do that? Like you just trying to figure what the fuck would you do that for? And sometimes you give people more credit than what they deserve for in the thinking department.
Yeah, she does. What happens to the chick that hits you on the visit? Does she catch a case too?
She ended up gets the case later on. What happened was that's why I ended up doing the 3 years in the hole. And what happened was I'm telling them that I got an unexpected visit. I'm like, I got an unexpected visit. She didn't bring me nothing. I got an unexpected visit. I didn't trust my roommate, so I decided to take you with me, and y'all caught me. You know what I'm saying? That was my story. Her story was, after I don't did like at this time, I don't did 3 years straight in the hole. I'm on Big Sandy's yard. Matter of fact, I'm damn near getting ready to go home out there for 188. You gotta think I'm like 15 years and change in when I come out the shoe. So I did from 2011 to 2014 in the hole in Lee County. And then that's when I ended up in Big Sandy, 2014. My date is like 2000, the beginning of 2016. I don't get indicted the 3 years I was there in the shoe. I still not indicted when I'm on the yard at the time, so I'm thinking I'm gonna go home. You feel me? And they come back, I get a letter saying pack it up, go to R&D, and that's when I knew my heart started racing. This was it. This was the one.
So she catches a case too. How much time does she get for bringing the pack?
She got 4 years because she pleaded guilty. She had told the people that, she admitted to bringing the pack. She said that she admitted to her part, so therefore I got to plead guilty because I don't want to force her to have to get on the stand to stand on her plea. You can't take that plea back once you stand on it. So this in turn tells me like, you know what, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? And they offered me 7 years. I'm like, let me get the 7.
Had to hurt. You're getting ready to go home and they hit you with another 7-piece.
After I'm 15, 16 years in.
Let's talk about the hole. 3 years in the hole. You might have been in the hole at Lee County longer than probably anybody else. There was another dude that was back there for a long time, Big Man. Big Man was back there for
I
kicking
was
the
on
bully.
I was on the tier with Big Man. I remember Big Man from New York got into it with the CO.
I'm in contact with him on WhatsApp. I'm in contact with Big Man. I'm gonna try to bring him on this week.
You tell Big Man you just talk to Freeze. Watch what he tell you.
Big Man doing it. He's in another country. He's in England. They deported him to England.
What? Oh man, I know Big Man. Me and Big Man did some time on that tier together.
Get a hold of him, man, this week, and I'm gonna plug you two in. So anyway, you're in the hole for 3 years in Lee County. What's it like to be in solitary confinement in a hole for 3 years, man?
Man, to be honest with you, that was like, man, like you. One of them other things where you had to conform, especially in Lee County, when you can't flush your own toilet. See, that was the thing in Lee County. You can't flush your own toilet. The toilet thing was on the outside, and you got to wait on the cop to come flush your toilet.
In
And
the
if
hole
they
there
like
about 5 or 6 times.
right, and they want to be an asshole, they'll leave it. They ain't gonna flush it. So
Tell the people what it's like when they don't flush the toilet. Let's say you got a celly. Your celly takes a shit, and they decide they don't like you today. They don't flush your toilet for 8 hours. You got to sit in this little room the size of you're living in a bathroom that someone took a shit in, brother. What's it like?
man, it's rough. Now you got to learn how to psychologically get by this. So we start putting Kool-Aid in the toilet. Taking the Kool-Aid packs, start saving the Kool-Aid packs from the trays, just in case, what I'm saying, you got to use the bathroom. You can at least try to cover it up and make it smell like Kool-Aid as much as you can.
You got to make that shit smell like that purple Kool-Aid, like grape Kool-Aid.
And see, a lot of people that say they did this time, they don't know this. That you know when
Don't know nothing about that smell good, man. Grape
Kool-Aid. Right. Well, you got to use that purple Kool-Aid, man.
This is the realities, this is the thing, OG Freeze. People don't know that the realities of what prison really is. This ain't just about scared straight. This is about reality of having to sit in a room with someone that took a shit. This is a reality about missing Christmases, man. This is a reality about, man, you got to hustle in there in order to eat and send some money home to your family. And people are like, you should have been in there programming. Yeah, well, my kids ain't eating. So I decided I had to do this. And you know what? You took what they call penitentiary chances and you ended up losing, bro. You lost.
Correct. And to be honest with you, like I started, I tried to, when you come in prison, you try to do the correct thing. I don't work in Unicorn. I done been on the Unicorn units as well. Trying to do the right thing without having to hustle. And my mom ended up having cancer and couldn't afford the medicine. Ended up getting her breast amputated, so I had to buy some new breasts. So in order to maintain my situation, I lived through my mom. And like I said, if I had to do it again for my mom, I would have did that. You know what I'm saying? Because they helped my mom a lot me hustling. Really helped her out. So I just got caught. But I was doing it for the cause of, family.
So you spent 3 years in Lee County. You get transferred to Big Sandy. You're in Big Sandy. What's Big Sandy like for you later on down the road?
Now that I got all this penitentiary experience under my belt when I get to Big Sandy, I'm fresh out the shoe. So when you fresh out the shoe, when I first get to Big Sandy, I was a little, your head on a swivel because you're not used to being around a lot of people. That's another mental issue that you don't realize that you have until you come from up under that and you have to start mingling. It's like you meet a guy, he comes from ADX, he gets out to a penitentiary yard, you're going to be looking, like, especially when you got to go to the computer, you're not going to be comfortable, holding your head down, trying to take while you got people standing in line behind you and, on the side of you. So you have to get back to being around other people. And Big Sandy, when I got there, that was kind of like my first out the shoe. That was kind of like my first thing that I had to get used to was being around people.
Is it hard to get used to after being in the hole for 3 years?
Uh, for me, no, because when I hit the yard, like I said, even when I hit Big Sandy, when I hit soon, somebody see me from another yard. Oh, the freeze on the yard. I'm already known because I was one of the dope boys in there from prison to prison. You know what I'm saying? So I'm I was popular. You know what I'm saying? I don't. People. It's good. You know how it is to be known in prison and have your rep go with you. You know what I'm saying? And people, what I'm saying, love you. You gonna have your haters, but for the most part, there's a lot of people. I mended a lot of bridges as far as the race thing. I was able to mingle. That's why I kept saying Mark. I was thinking about the AB guy Mark that was in Big Sandy with. You know what I'm saying? Uh, but you start realizing that, damn man, a lot of this car stuff and this race stuff is really a control factor because this guy is an independent. He's not racist, but we all got to do what we got to do to survive, to stick with our kind or stick with our car, whatever. But you start to realize, man, that people, Mexicans, white, Chinese, everybody is really, we just people. And you start to branch out and be like, man, this dude really actually cool. He's not, you know what I'm saying? I started to realize that different cultures had their different advantages, and I thought it was cool to be hanging with people that say stuff different and talk different and think different than me. And I started to broad. Really, I became actually, to be honest with you, Chad, I became a better man on the extra time that I caught than I was before I caught it. You know what I'm saying? I
The
wanted to be. I
hustling
want
is the hustling over with though at that point when you become a better man at Big Sandy?
Big Sandy. No, I'm still hustling. I'm still hustling. I'm still hustling because I'm in mode like I'm finna do this to prepare myself to go home. I got the count on me now. I got to start thinking about myself more than other people. And during this time, I'm still hustling. I'm still getting money. I'm still doing the same thing. I'm just moving different. And like I said, I had a solid relationship with a lot of different guys from everywhere. And I started to realize that I really had a gift as far as being able to, teach because now you starting to become somewhat of an OG because of the experiences you got. So now you're responsible for more people. And through that, I started to learn how to, how life was going to be for me in the free world.
This is the deal. You're around a bunch of dudes that are in prison. A lot of dudes that are in prison, it's because of addiction. It's because of, they were in the street because they were growing up fucking poor. So they're like, I'm selling dope. This is how. And then they end up in jail with 30, 40 years. They ain't got no money out there in the street, man. A little bit of money they had, they took it. Everything they had,
Right.
they took. So now you're the dope boy. You show up, right? And people are like, oh, man, OG Freezer, I'm going to be able to eat, man. It's my homie. I'm from the ATL too. Yo, do you feel like you were like, the king when around some people? Like I've seen dudes worship the dope dudes like, he's the king of the yard. He's the king.
Yeah, I would. I'd have wore it, but the way I did it, I was. That's where I got kind of like my concept that I try to use on my YouTube page. I'm your cool uncle. You feel me? I'm your cool uncle, and I felt good about being able to help other people because I don't help people get visits. I don't flew their family in for them, and that made me feel good to be able to do for others. That's the part that felt good. That I could control this. I could keep this dude from getting stabbed because he owed this guy. I could pay his tab. You know what I'm saying? The homie, and or I could help this guy get some money to try to take care of his people or take care of his kids or make sure they got something for Christmas or you know what I'm saying? Put some food in his locker, couple of macros. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Being able to help people, I wore that with pride. I wore that with pride when somebody said, "Hey, Chad, who you in the cell with?" And so you wave from Detroit somewhere, and they be like, "Oh, I'm in the cell with Free." Oh no, you straight, you good. You know what I'm saying? I felt like good the way I could be like, "Hey, Chad, let me see 100 books to the next move," and you give it to me. You feel what I'm saying? That stuff do make you feel good. You know what I'm saying?
Your name is good. Your word is good, man.
And that's something to be proud of, I think.
Worst prison you been to? I mean, you've been to all these dangerous places. What was the worst?
I feel all of them was like equally yoked because everywhere had a danger. Like Big Sandy got his own danger. Uh, Hazelton, I thought was the worst because they have to shut them gates. Gates that they have back then. If you get into it in that hallway, you know it's a quarter mile to walk down the child, and ain't
Trapped in between
nobody
them
going
gates.
by no metal detectors. All the metal detectors going off when everybody walk by, and they ain't saying nothing. And when they jump off in them hallways and them tunnels, and they shut them gates, and you stuck in there, that's scary.
You definitely get
That's
scared.
that that that's that was dangerous. But also, I don't been in a race ride in Big Sandy. That's dangerous.
You know,
That's dangerous.
my celly got trapped in between the gates in Big Sandy, and he was stabbed over, I think, 33 times. He didn't die, man. He lived, but how I don't know, but he did live. Race ride in Big Sandy. What's the race ride over, and who is it with?
Uh, it started with the Serenos. We in C1. The night before that was a little tension in the unit with the whites and the blacks by the phone, and everybody had been drinking, so everybody just brushed that off that night. The next morning, it's a Sereno from our unit, and he goes to the chow hall, and it's a guy from DC. The shot caller from DC at the time was named guy named Larry Moe. I don't know if you heard of Larry Moe,
I know who
but
Larry Moore.
okay, so Larry Moe in the chow hall, and the Sereno just cut straight in front of him in the chow hall line, cut straight in front of him and start talking to his homeboy, and they get into a little shoving match. And they take Larry Moe and put Larry Moe in the cage and let the Sereno go. So while the Sereno going down the sidewalk, it's like he talking shit, and you can see the sidewalk divide instantly. Mexicans, whites, you know what I'm saying, on this side, blacks on the other side, all going down, walking towards C1. And we stopped right in front of the unit. And motherfuckers like, they ain't letting them get in. They're not gonna let them get to the unit because they feel like if he gets to the unit to get this knife, then they got an advantage. So they stop him right there. And one of the guys from Virginia just hit the guy that Larry Moe had got into it with. Bam! And from there, it just take off everywhere, all in the yard, all in the kitchen, all in all the units. It just popped off just like that.
What are you doing at the time? You got a knife on you?
Oh, I shoot at that particular time. I shoot to the room, bam, because when we coming in, I had this guy named Columbia that worked at the lieutenant office. Columbia that was my chew guy. I was getting all my chew from Columbia. He was the only Colombian on the yard, so I walk him to his room, get him to his room, some urban novel shit, get him to his room safe, bam. You know what I'm saying? I go up to my room, and before I can get there, I can't get to my room. It's going down. Two Serenos coming from me to the front. So I grabbed the broomstick, and it's an AB coming behind me from the back. So I grabbed the broomstick and I just break it in half. Pow, make me a point. You know what I'm saying? So the white guy runs up on me. I stabbed him with the broomstick because it still had the point on it. Boom. The other guys now, some guys with me catch up with me, chase the other Sereno. They jump over the tier, and we on to the next one. We just going, everybody just going around. You know, this time these free stabbings. So everybody who don't like anybody, they didn't like you, or I bump into you, and me and you cool. I'd be like, hey Chad, damn, me and you know we got to do something, but I ain't gonna get you. I just get your homeboy, Chad. You can get you gotta find you a man, hey Chad. We know we both got to do it, and we living here together. And that's another thing that was kind of like, because we was in a unit, and I'm in the unit with Boy George and them. You know what I'm saying? I was in the unit with Boy George, you know what I'm saying, all that, at Big Sandy. So it's a lot of us that had relationships, and you like, fuck, you know what I'm saying? All right. But as a
Seen it.
veteran,
I know what it is. I seen it, man. You're cool with a dude. You're like, damn, I don't want to stab this dude. Do you end up
right.
getting stabbed or hit at all?
Matter of fact, I didn't. At this particular time, thank God I made it without a scratch. I stabbed a
Let's
few guys and got away with it.
talk about this, right? How long you been out now?
I got out last June, July.
I see you in that big boy truck. I know you're in Atlanta. I know you know some big dudes. Somebody looked out for you.
Right. It's got a lot of money I came home to. I saved all my money while I was in prison. And when I got out, you know what I'm saying, I still had dudes that I didn't tell on. that was still out here and got businesses that's doing pretty good, and I had a nice support system.
That's what's up. You involved with any of the dudes down there in Atlanta? I know there's a lot of rappers down there.
Uh, I could say like the older ones, like a lot of the young ones, they when I went to prison, they was 2, 3 years old. So I'm kind of moving. I move around with a lot of guys that when they say rappers, like I hang around a few of them. I don't met a few people, and a lot of them entertainers. Uh, that matter of fact, I did the King of Diamond with Jocelyn Hernandez. So when I got out, unfortunately, like because I started as YouTubing and I was known as BG Selly because BG was my Selly uh, for like 2 years. And so as soon as I came home, everybody wanted the BG story. So I really didn't get a chance to and I'm just getting out, and it just took off like that with the YouTube thing. So that's how that started, and that's where it's been since then.
What's up? What was BG like?
Uh, BG was like a you. He wasn't like what they thought he was. He was a regular guy, and like I said, I got to know Christopher. I didn't really get to know BG because, like I tell people, people that you know on the street, when they come in, on their way out, they're a completely different person. You know what I'm saying? People are not the same people they are when they first come to prison. And I got to know him, and he was a regular dude. I never talked to him about things in the industry because you got all these people that when you outside his cell, asking him all these questions and about this and that. So I figure, why would I do that when he come in the cell and go through the same thing? So that's how my relationship was with him.
Were you on the yard when Kodak Black was over there?
Yes, in Big Sandy.
He was a dirty South car or no?
He was in the South car, but he didn't get a chance to go in the yard. He couldn't walk.
So he didn't walk the yard in Big Sandy.
He couldn't walk. He couldn't.
Why can't he walk? Wasn't the homies that took care of him?
No. What happened was, his situation was this. Kodak's situation at that particular time, he had that incident with T.I., and he made that statement about Nipsey Hussle's wife. And they have a big Crip and Blood population on their yard. And also you had a sexual assault charge pending. So you're not going to be able to walk the yard, regardless if you're guilty or not, being that you have a sex charge pending in a penitentiary setting. You feel me? Because we don't know what the outcome can be. And you can't walk the yard with a sex charge.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wanted you to explain that. Anyway, so listen, man, OG, you're out now. You're living your best life. What do you got going on? What are you doing right now?
Right now, I do the YouTube page. I got a YouTube page, OG Freeze. You know what I'm saying? I advocate good uncles. Everybody know me as your mama little brother. You cool uncle. OG Freeze. So I advocate that. I have an LLC that I opened up called it was dealing with safe solutions, and it was a transitional assistant. And I speak on telling people how to make the transition from prison to the free world by the things that I go through. As far as what you're going to go through, what you're going to experience, and unfortunately, some of y'all on the way to prison. So I try to tell them what the prison what you're going to be faced with. But for the most part, I try to let guys know with respect. Like people don't know about credit. They don't tell you need a good credit score when you come out here to get somewhere to stay. They don't teach you how to work a phone. That because you got guys like me that did a lot of time. I don't know. When I went in, it was Nextel. I was chirping, and when you come out to all this different technology, we need help. We need help to learn how to catch on to what's going on to be tech savvy. And a lot of times, people in the free world they don't know you've been in prison. So it's another mental issue that you have to face when you're coming out here, and you also have to talk to the families because one of the toughest problems that I went through, and I still go through sometimes, is that I went in at 25. So the people that know me from 25 still only have memories of me from when I was 25, and they don't know the 47-year-old me. So they try to treat you as if you still that same age that you was before you went to prison. They get caught up in that. And as a person, you got to learn how to reintroduce yourself to people to get them to know who you are now. And that's a challenge.
Tell the people how they can find your YouTube channel before we get ready to go.
Oh, they just look me up on YouTube, OG Freeze 019 on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? You put that in, you're gonna see. It's gonna now pop up. I'm also on the Real Report. Like I've done numerous interviews with different YouTube platforms, but I had like about 9,000 subscribers on YouTube. So I'm in the, you know what I'm saying, the algorithm. So they type in OG Freeze, I pop straight up. And a lot of guys that see me in prison, they see the stuff that I do now. We used to look at love and hip hop while we was in there, make them rice bowls. So I let, and now I'm standing next to these people and I'm talking to them in person. So to go from listening to Gucci Man to standing next to Gucci Man, having a conversation with Gucci and partying with Gucci is, you know what I'm saying, is different. It's like, you know what I'm saying, let people know that, man, you can really do it. It really happens to be able to go from looking at T.I. and listening to T.I. music to standing next to T.I. talking to him and having a good conversation and actually trying to do business with these guys. That's really like what I'm out here for, to show people that just because you went to prison, that's why I salute you. You feel me? And I appreciate you for having me on, because it's guys like us that let people know behind the wall that don't give up, that you can still have hope. Well, hope ain't a plan, but you can still know it can be done, and you're not doing it for nothing.
Yeah, well, listen, man, I appreciate you coming on. We'll put your links up. People can go check out your page. You know, I'm telling people, if you like what we're doing, man, hit that like button. With respect, Blood on the Razor Wire TV. Until tomorrow, we're out.